We have finally made it. The college football playoff bracket is official. Did the committee get it right? Did they put the right teams in? We'll see. Where are some of the things that they can improve on to make the playoff even better moving forward? We're going to talk about the Heisman, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty. Plus, we got to recap championship weekend, which caused the chaos of the college football playoffs. Burn down the gridiron on this special Monday edition. And it starts right now.
Maybe you from the 1970s when the Los Angeles Rams.
I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing.
What's up? We have made it through the regular season of college football. We have our playoff bracket set, and it's a little chaos going on around here. Things happen during championship weekend that led to chaos for the committee. And what they had to do, they had to make a very, very tough decision. But we are here to talk about those decisions. Welcome to a special Monday edition of Bearing Down a Grid on December 9th, 2024. Yes, we about to smooth on through 2024 into 2025. It's been a great regular season. It's been fun. But hey, when you have the official playoff brackets official, you cannot go over what happened alone. You need to have a tag team partner. And that tag team partner for today is a man that y'all have seen on the show numerous times. The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Total football talk and mentality Ladies and gentlemen, the EP of all EPs, Mr. Cole Johnson.
Good afternoon, Playmaker. It is a pleasure to grace your stage once again. And Sarkeesian, I hate you right now.
We will get to Mr. Sarkeesian and the Texas Longhorns in the program because we have a lot to talk about today. It's going to be an interesting road through the rest of this year into the new year. So, but the first order of business, I got a couple of news and notes because they all practically the same thing. So I just picked two of them out, well, three of them out the bunch, and they said we're going to talk about these because these are the ones I feel like we need to talk about. So let's get to our 2-minute drill. And to begin our 2-minute drill, Purdue hires UNLV's coach Barry Odom to turn the program around. Yeah, Purdue had a Purdue had one of them seasons. Let's just put it like that. I don't know if Coach John's got a better way of putting it, but Purdue had one of them seasons.
Yeah, I think the best way I could say it, Purdue basically had a dumpster fire of a season.
Now I know why Pat McAfee does what he does when he can't find the right words to use.
Yeah, dumpster fire, bowling shoe ugly, and dumpster pelican all roll into one. I mean, Purdue was a non-factor.
1-11
to the point where Indiana was feeling that it was a blue blood in their annual rivalry and decided 52-0. Oh, we're gonna go on. We're gonna throw it and throw it and throw it and score again on you.
11-1 overall.
That's how bad Purdue season was.
0-9 in the Big Ten.
That's all I need to see about Purdue's season. That and of course when Notre Dame curb stomped them after they took that L at home to Northern Illinois. They're like, oh, Purdue's next. Oh, they're about to be gum on my shoe. and they're scoring 65 points on them. But anything could be an improvement. And bringing in a squad that competed in the Mountain West Championship. Yeah, okay. That what it looks like. Their signs are pointing up to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is move on. Just move on. Kyle Whittingham is returning to Utah for a 21st season. I should have a bone to pick with y'all in Utah. A big old bone to pick with y'all.
No, you don't have to pick any bones. None. I mean, you only picked them to win the Big 12 this year.
The fact that you remember that. The fact that you remember that sucks. And it started off so good for me too.
It did.
It looked so good.
They were whooping butt, and then I can't remember if their quarterback was injured.
Both of their quarterbacks got injured.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to say the starting quarterback got injured, and then the backup got injured, and that pretty much was that put their season in a downward spiral.
5-7, 2-7 in the Big 12. First year in the Big 12. Just couldn't do that.
But hey, but I mean, they could be happy. BYU looked good in its first season in the Big 12. I'm sorry, my bad.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
I'm so sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, just so y'all know, we are streaming live on the Playmakers Bar Network YouTube channel, live on the Playmakers Bar Facebook channel, and on my personal LinkedIn page. So if you're catching us live, comment wherever you're at. Have fun, because we talking college football Tell us how you feel about the committee. Tell you what you don't like, what you care about. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Speaking of which, Alabama's AD to reevaluate non-conference slate after CFP picks. Now, Cole, if you want, you can talk about it now, or we can wait till we get to the college football playoffs. I'm saving mine when we get to the college football playoffs.
I'm gonna save mine too.
So put a pin in that because that's gonna be juicy, and I'm happy he put that out there because I'm just gonna give you one word to hold on to until we get there. You know what that one word is? Accountability.
I have 3, but I won't say it now.
That is your 2-minute drill. Now that we got that out the way, let's jump into it because we had to crown some champions over the weekend, right, sir?
That is correct.
So let's go to our gridiron roundup. And to begin our gridiron roundup, we're going back to Friday. We had the Conference USA Championship, a rematch that took place in Week 13.
Hit me.
Western Kentucky taking on Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State set a precedent of what championship weekend was going to look like for the most part.
A bunch of wild mess.
They smacked the brace off of Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 50-12. Takeaways from this game: Trey Stewart, the running back for Jacksonville State, 27 carries, 201 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns, sir.
Well, Western Kentucky is not too far from here. They ain't talk about it much around these parts. That's how bad that butt whooping was.
Jacksonville State had 562 total yards to Western Kentucky 229 total yards.
Yeah, that was a total whooping.
Like I said, they set a precedent because the American Conference, the nightcap of Friday, the American Athletic Championship, Army hosting Tulane. I don't think Tulane made it out of New Orleans.
Tulane should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. They could not beat. Oh, I know Army's ranked. And I know Army actually is a good team this year. But Tulane was supposed to be. They were supposed to actually be pretty good.
You lost to Memphis on your way into the American Championship.
Yeah, but so, what happened? Because
and then you got your doors blown off for you by Army. And for those who didn't watch the game, let me explain to you why. Because you see 21 points, you couldn't have been that bad. No, it was very bad. Total yards: Tulane 324.
And that's not bad.
Army 355.
Okay, well, yeah, rather even.
Passing yards: Tulane 209.
Okay, they were balling.
Army 17.
Uh oh. You about to hit where I thought you was going to hit.
Rushing yards.
Right between the eyes. Right between the eyes. Hit him right between the eyes.
Rushing yards. Tulane 115. Army 338.
Couldn't stop a cold on the ground. That's what I thought. That tells you right there. Army off the bus said we're gonna gain 300 on the ground against these fools.
Did y'all not watch the Notre Dame game?
300 on the ground.
Did anybody watch the Notre Dame game?
Off the bus.
Notre Dame said y'all is not finna run the football.
Off the bus on the parking lot. 300. We can get 300 on them. 300.
Notre Dame said no, y'all not running. We don't care. Y'all not running the football. We gonna run on y'all. Y'all not running on us. Did anybody take that game plan with them? Apparently not.
Well, I mean, Tulane thought they could hang with Army. I mean, heck, to the point where Army, they're like, We're only going to throw for 17 yards against you. You knew what was coming and couldn't stop it. That is condemnation right there.
You let the team pass for 17 yards in a championship game. 17!
You knew what was coming and couldn't stop it. They elected to not throw for that much. Elected. Not your defense is good enough to stop them. They elected to not throw the ball on you. They're like, we can get all the yards we need, pounding them on the ground. We basically will prove that we are more man than the Green Wave, and we're going to make them a Green Wave because they're going to be waving their way out the stadium with an L.
They was surfing on y'all.
And we ain't talking swag.
But the game we're going to dive more into. The Mountain West Championship. The 10th ranked Boise Broncos hosting 20th ranked UNLV. A matchup that was a very closely tight matchup early in the season. We're going to run it back on the blue turf. Yeah. They ran it back. Same outcome.
Same result. You would think
Boise wins. To have 327 yards of offense and only score 7 points.
And not get dominated on the time possession as well, and only turn the ball over once.
Only 7? That's it.
Now, my normal rule of thumb in football is if a defense, and you'll hear me say this later in this program,
oh, Lord.
If a defense can hold an opposing offense to under 20 points, the game normally is on the offense if they can't win it. Because you would think an offense is able to score 21 points in a game. So you can almost say this game was defensively their fault because they couldn't stop Boise State. But to me, this is on the offense because you got to punch the ball in if you have opportunities and chances. And 28 minutes of possession means you had some chances to do some damage, and you only came away with one touchdown. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Now that we got the UNLV out of the way, focus is on Boise. Boise handled business.
And more importantly, my man Jeanty.
Yep, Ashton
the
Jeanty.
Heisman candidate. Yeah, the Heisman
32
candidate.
carries, 209 yards and a touchdown.
He didn't disappoint. Ooh.
And Boise handled their business. They understood their assignment at hand.
Mm-hmm.
They was at home. And they say, all right, it's a simple job, gentlemen. Win.
Well, not only that, win, and we're gonna secure that bye.
Simple, easy, done.
We get this win, we're gonna secure that bye. There's the carrot that was dangling in front of them. More than likely, if we take an L, we out the playoffs altogether. But we get this win, we'll get this bye too.
Now, that was the 3 games from Friday. So before we get to Saturday, we did bring up Heisman, right?
That's right.
It's a 2-man race. Travis Hunter of the Colorado Buffaloes and Ashton Jeanty of the Boise Broncos. Now, people already had their opinions before Jeanty played his Mountain West Championship game and was crowned champion.
Right.
So here's the breakdown for those who are still on the fence, like I am, trying to figure out who would you like to see win the Heisman.
Well, let's see if we can jump up the fence.
First off, let's go to the guy who didn't play, Travis Hunter.
And
Travis Hunter, as a wide receiver, 92 catches, 1,152 yards receiving. That is 12.5 yards per catch. 14 touchdowns. As a cornerback, 31 total tackles, 20 of them being solo, 11 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, and 4 interceptions. That is Travis Hunter's season of 2024.
Okay.
Ashton Jeanty, ladies and gentlemen. 344 carries, 2,497 yards rushing, 7.3 yards per carry, 20 9 touchdowns. He also had 20 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown.
You mean tell me every time this man touches the ball, he gains 7 yards?
Yes.
Oh
every time.
my gosh.
Yes.
So Boise State literally can handle the ball on first and second down. He will probably in the second carry give you the line of gain and pick up a first down. Man. Sorry,
So,
I'm getting into my offensive lineman bag here. Man, when you have a running back that chews up that much clock and that much amount of yards, imagine how much more excited you want to be when you're in front of him blocking for that guy. Ooh,
Not to
Jeanty
mention-
getting busy. Oh my
I've been
gosh.
looking for it, but I can't find how many breakaway touchdowns
Yeah.
he had because he been running 70-yard touchdown, 72, 55. Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
Dude,
Almost every game he breaking one.
yeah, dude's been impressive all year, and to be in a program where let's be completely forthright. You know, Boise State is not getting the attention that the Blue Bloods get. That even the programs that are in the same conference as these Blue Bloods don't. They don't get that type of coverage. They've been getting a little bit more than usual for the, I guess, for the understanding that there's no more Pac-12, and Boise State has had the focus on them in the negative way, not for the program itself, but for the Blue Bloods not scheduling them because they're like, well, this isn't a guarantee. We scratch 7 figures, give them the check, and we beat them down type of game. We can't schedule these people. We actually might screw up our season and lose. We can't do this. And they've gotten that type of attention. Besides that and beyond that, he doesn't get you don't really see them at the noon kicks, the 3:30 kicks, and the 7 p.m. kicks. And he's still just kicking butt all year long.
So,
Shout out to you, Ashton. Shout out to you, bro.
Now, we will see Dylan Gabriel in New York. We will see Cam Ward in New York. But it's between these two right here. for the
Too
Heisman.
bad. Too bad. And I love Cam. I love Cam a lot. But yeah, it is between those two.
So, sir, if you had a vote
Mm-hmm.
based on the 2024 season,
Mm-hmm.
who is your Heisman Trophy?
Mine would be Ashton Jeanty. And it's not because I am throwing shade on Colorado. It's not that, well, Colorado sucks and all that type of crap. No. Look, I will give Travis Hunter his due. Playing 2 ways in a game of today, and no matter what level, that is saying a lot. The problem to me is that Hunter hasn't or didn't get a chance to, at least in my opinion, besides maybe the number of receptions, give me the, oh my gosh, feel of a wide receiver or cornerback. It's more along the lines of, wow, he didn't really wow me as a wide receiver, but he's talented. He didn't wow me as a corner, but he's talented.
Well, can I come to this defensive disregard? The opposing quarterback was not trying to throw that way. They was not trying to throw that. They know number 12s over there. We not going over there.
No, I get that. But you know, but yeah, I mean that sort of, well, from his coach's namesake, I mean his coach's name, where yeah, he probably would see maybe 2 balls thrown in his direction all game long and took advantage of both those times. I'm not saying that Hunter was bad in either spot, but to me, he was decent at I'm saying it's not insulting. He was decent at corner, and he was pretty good at wide receiver. But if you're going to give him the award, more than likely it's going to be, wow, he had this many amount of plays that he put forth on the field. And it's going to be more along the lines of he's the Iron Man more than, wow, he's a great wide receiver, or wow, he's a great corner. He has talent to be good in both. But I mean, Jeanty, and you said it. Every game he has at least a run that's about 40 yards or greater. No matter the defense. Now, I believe Hunter's going to win it, but my vote be for Jeanty.
Okay. I'm still on the fence because, like you said, when the last time we seen a person play two ways?
And I think that's what's going to make Hunter win. That's what's going to give it to Hunter. The last time I can remember a player that was celebrated playing two ways, he did win the Heisman Trophy. His name, Charles Woodson.
And here's the one thing I say that's impressive to me when it comes to Travis Hunter. Playing two ways and you still got over 1,000 yards receiving.
Impressive. It is impressive. No question about that.
And double digits in touchdown receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Playing both ways.
He's impressive. He is an impressive athlete. There he is. If I were to say Travis Hunter sucks as an athlete, I'd be lying through my teeth. The dude is impressive as an athlete. And he has skills in both positions. I just don't think he's had a season where it's like, wow, it's a standout season at wide receiver. Wow, it's a standout season at corner. And you mentioned why as a corner, because people don't want to test him. As wide receiver, I think, and this is actually a plus on his end. More coverage has been rolled in his direction to force Shedeur Sanders to go elsewhere a little more. Otherwise, I think we would have probably, if he were to have played wide receiver only, we probably would have had him have like over 100 receptions, and he might have knocked on the door to 1,500 yards receiving, and that touchdown total maybe like 15, 16, maybe even 17.
I got to give Hunter that. Ashton Jeanty, that man almost cracked 2,500 yards rushing.
That's what I'm saying. And the last guy I remember that did that, he won the Heisman too. His name, Barry Sanders, where he gained like almost 2,300 yards on the ground in one season.
We talking that man? He was 3 yards away from a 2,500 season
on the ground. We're not 2,400 all-purpose yards, 2,400 on the ground. 2,400 yards rushing.
That man counted for 30 touchdowns.
When
the last time I running back counted for 30 touchdowns in a season?
So Boise State's played 12 games now?
Boise State, yep, it'll be 12. No, 13.
13. I was about to say. So this gentleman, number 2 in the blue, he is accounted just on the ground. We're not even talking about through the air. On the ground, it's accounted for almost 200 yards a game on the ground. Definitely over 150. Just think about that. That's impressive.
29 rushing touchdowns.
That's also impressive.
Remember,
that's
remember what you said earlier about Army?
A game on the ground.
Remember what you said earlier about Army? You know it's coming.
Yeah, you know it's coming. You can't stop it still. Again, impressive to me. When you know off the bus, stop number 2, and you still can't stop them. Ooh, goodness gracious. That's why I got to tip my cap to Jeanty. Because the game plan is to stop him, and teams can't stop him.
It is a difficult decision.
And we've seen many young men make business ones this year.
I'm talking about between picking them two. It's a difficult decision.
It is difficult.
I think this might be one of the most difficult Heisman race that I have seen in quite some time.
Because I think what you have is you have two different ways people will say, oh yeah, this guy stands out as the winner. Because you got one who in one season in that one position has balled completely out on one side, and on the other you have a guy who he didn't really ball out per se, but when you can say you play over 100 snaps a game, that's pretty impressive. 100 snaps a game. That's Travis Hunter for you. Over 100 snaps a game. He lines up on the line of scrimmage, offense and defense, at least 100 times. That's impressive too.
And that man still got over 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah, and he still got over 1,000 yards receiving, and double-digit touchdowns. Over 100 snaps every game.
I don't know how they gonna vote this, but I'm with you. I'll give it to Jeanty.
Yeah.
But man, this is a difficult decision.
We'll see Saturday, but like I said, bro, I got to tip my cap to Jeanty because I think he has not gotten the love that he deserves. But I could totally see them giving it to Hunter. I could totally see them giving it to him.
This is a hard decision. So y'all that is voting, I won't be mad either way, to be honest.
I won't either because I like them both, actually. I love both these young guys.
At least we know it's not going to a quarterback this year.
Yeah, it definitely won't be a quarterback. Sorry, Cam. I love your style, boy. I love your style, Cam Ward. But nah, the Heisman's not headed your way unless you decide to stay and play next year.
But now let's get back to the roundup. Let's head to Saturday.
So yeah, oh, good Lord.
12. We had 2 games at 12. The first one being the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship.
A butt whooping.
As I said earlier, Jacksonville State set the precedent of what championship weekend was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you who don't know, or those of you who not been paying attention when you watch this game, that team right there that is ranked 15 that put up 45 points.
Yes, sir.
They were picked dead last at the beginning of the season.
Yes, they were. Yes,
they were picked last.
And the team that we were talking about in the previous segment, they were picked ahead of Arizona State. Shows you what people know about prognostications and predictions.
And they destroyed Iowa State.
So this game to me seemingly, correct me if I'm wrong, this struck me as a winner gets a bye. This is basically like a winner go home type of game. Winner gets a bye. The loser has to settle for a bowl game and not be in the playoffs.
Yes.
That it struck me as that.
Cam Scatterball.
He balled out.
16 carries. 170 yards rushing.
Out.
2 touchdowns. And he had a 33-yard reception for a touchdown.
It seemed like to me whenever Arizona State needed something offensively and they couldn't get anything else going, they just went to him. And he just made a play.
They couldn't tackle him.
And Iowa State couldn't. They did not have an answer for him.
They couldn't tackle.
They did not have an answer for him. They had no answer for him. No answer.
The basic game on defense is tackle.
Yeah.
They couldn't tackle him. At halftime, Scuttleball had 90 yards after contact.
It's a bad boy.
90 yards after contact in the first half.
Bad boy.
I'm watching. I'm like, this is good gracious.
Just imagine if they didn't call off the dogs. Just imagine if Arizona State didn't call off the dogs.
Arizona State was picked last, and they finished first.
Congratulations to them.
Kenny Dillingham, he gets my Coach of the Year vote.
Considering they wanted to have this success happen under Herm Edwards, and it did not happen, and it seemed to actually go left with him there. Not saying that he was a bad coach, and not saying he's a bad element. It just simply wasn't a good fit. And they were considered. Let's be blunt. They were considered Pac-12 welcome mats at the end of the conference. I'm sorry, at the end of the conference as we know it, because I know technically it still is the Pac-12 with Oregon State and Washington State, but they were considered welcome mats on the way out of the Pac-12, and like you said, they were basically considered they basically were predicted to be the same welcome mats in the Big 12, and Arizona State said, not this year. Kudos to them. Congratulations.
Another rematch happened in the MAC. Ohio versus Miami, Ohio.
Another butt woman.
Two teams meet for the second time. Not the same result on this one.
Well, I guess Ohio University said,
that was terrible.
We ain't gonna have the same thing happen on our watch. I wish that happened on another game.
Total yards. Miami, Ohio had 190.
That defense came to play.
Ohio had 468.
See, when I see, even though yes, I see 38 for Ohio, so it means the offense got busy. But when I see the defense only allowed a field goal, the defense led the way. The defense gave the confidence to the offense to boogie, and the defense led the way. It said, you're going to struggle to gain a yard in this game.
Yeah, time of possession, 37-35. Guess what that was for?
Mm-hmm. That was for Ohio. Yeah. Miami, Ohio told Miami, Ohio, yeah, you're going to struggle mightily to gain a yard. And here we are, we're in Detroit. Oh, yeah, you ain't going to gain much.
Jeez.
Not happening.
And then the 4:00 game came on Saturday, late afternoon. And ladies and gentlemen, I could go ahead and give you the statistics, but I'm just going to sit back and let my man go ahead and do his thing.
We don't even need to go through stats. You put forth a wonderful game plan, and in the first half, talking about Texas, you allowed Georgia to gain only a field goal. They gained yards down the field. They put forth drives, but you were able to stop them enough to where they actually had to settle for field goals or stop them before they got deep within your own territory, and you forced them to punt. You had the opportunity to put your foot on their throat in the first half. And what do? You squander it offensively by just settling for field goals and making mistakes offensively. I'm like, you can't do this with this team. You got to take all full advantage of it. And then the defense did what they were supposed to do, exclamation point wise. Now, I'm not a fan of rooting for injury. I don't say yes when someone gets injured, because that's what happened to Carson Beck. Last play of the first half for Georgia, Beck goes back to pass. There's a sack strip fumble that was recovered by Texas, and Beck was just buried, throwing shoulder to the ground. Now, normally this would be where you would want this to be a deflating moment for Georgia if you were Texas, but you had to go in the locker room at the half up 6-3 and say, we're only 50 miles away from where the University of Georgia rests and resides. So this basically is a road game for us. Yes, I know this is a neutral site game because it's in Atlanta, and this is for the SEC championship. And our goal was to come here for the very first year in the SEC and claim this and mark this our territory. And we did a good job of the regular season because we only lost one game. And guess who that one loss was to? Is to the team that we only allowed a field goal to in the first half. So you allowed only 3 points to them, and you knocked the starting quarterback out. Now, we should not feel as though the game is over and we should throw a ticker tape parade yet, because normally, just think about us. We have Quinn Ewers, the quarterback, and if he goes down, you rally harder around Arch Manning, correct? Well, think the same thing when they put Stockton in, because they're going to rally around him. But no, Mr. Steve Sarkisian was thinking, I think this is fine. I'll just jaw with the refs and say, look, there's too much favoritism with Georgia and with these flags you're throwing. I'll just jaw with them. The game plan is fine, and didn't adjust word jack. And what does Georgia do? Well, as a team that has a championship pedigree would do, they came out full guns blazing, just like a tested SEC team would do. And they marched down the field. They scored 7 points. They looked much better in one drive. They looked much more imposing in one drive than they did the whole first half. And they had you play catch up the rest of the way. It pisses me off because this game was yours, but you decided to play with Georgia. You decided to play with them Bulldogs like you were a 2-year-old wanting to go through a meal. Like it was like, oh, this is cute. Oh, what's this? Oh, it feels soft and gushy. Of course, you're holding pasta. Oh, this feels so soft and gushy. Let me toss it. You played with Georgia like you were a newborn playing with food. And when you play with food, you don't get the nutrients necessary and you hurt yourself. So you played with Georgia and you hurt yourself. And then when they scored that touchdown to go up 10-6 on you, you played on your heels and you played from behind the rest of the way. And you were satisfied to play from behind the rest of the way. So for the exception of a touchdown and early in the fourth quarter to tie the game at 13, the offense was pitiful. Oh, but not to be outdone, the special teams was even more pitiful because you missed 2 field goals if you made one of them. About Texas being the number 2 seed instead of not being the number 2 seed. So I'm not going to be like many of these other fans of teams where it's like, we got cheated out of our game. No. Texas's defense did exactly what they were supposed to do. They got the assignment. They held a powerhouse Georgia team that managed to score 44 points week before against a pretty good and pretty stout Georgia Tech team. Yes, I know it took 8 overtimes to do it, but still, 44 points in the game. You have to make note of that. They took a team that scored 44 points 1 week prior, and they held them to 16. The defense got the assignment, Sarkisian, but your offense did not, and obviously you didn't, because your offense needed a spark. Quinn Ewers, I love the kid, but he just ain't it. I'm sorry. In the biggest of games, he comes up shorter and smaller than mini-me. And this is what happens. He came up short when you played him in Austin, and he came up short when you played him again in Atlanta. So it didn't surprise me that the outcome of this was 22-19. Didn't surprise me at all. Didn't surprise me at all, because by the time Georgia scored the 6 points in overtime, the defense was gassed. And they should have been gassed because it was up to them to actually make this a game. Otherwise, it would have been a rout and not the one that you want. It'd been the one that you would not want. It'd be the one that you pretty much saw you would be familiarizing yourself with, that you saw 6 weeks prior at your own home stadium. The defense did its job. The offense did not. And you had a kid, to me, on the sideline where you saw with Georgia it happened because they rallied around Stockton and they gassed him up and they gave him the confidence to win a big-time game. You could have done the same thing, especially with Ewers, who he was going to a target the first and the second and the third quarter, but decided to not even go his way or even look his way in the fourth and forced passes elsewhere. That game was yours. And Sarkisian, I hold you personally responsible for that L. But I'm not going to say, well, the refs stole it from us. Well, Georgia got lucky. No. Georgia earned that one. They earned that W because they were smacking Texas around, and Texas was equally smacking Georgia around. This was big boy football at its finest. And this was the best game of the weekend. But the taste in my mouth that I have is extremely sour. How sour, do you ask? I want to make a plea to the NCAA committee right now. I know that Texas is in the playoffs, and I know they earned their way into the playoffs, whether they won or lost the SEC championship game. But considering the way Quinn Ewers played, and considering the brain fart that Steve Sarkisian had when he coached the team in the SEC championship, which was, to me, even though the game was closer, it was even worse than the October 19th affair that was also between Georgia and Texas. I beg of you, take Texas out of the playoff pool and have punish them by getting them one of them pittance bowls, like the Holiday Bowl, or that bowl they play in San Francisco, or the bowl they play in Yankee Stadium. Give them one of those bowls. Don't even put them in the citrus bowl. Put them in the peach, the peach, the orange, the sugar, the rose, whichever one is not involving a playoff team, cotton or the any of the six that does not have playoff implications upon it. Put Texas in one of those bowls and have it not be for a national championship implications. Have it be, since you can't beat a team twice, you need to not even play for a national championship. That is how upset I am at Texas putting forth a horrible effort on offense and special teams. The defense, I'm proud of. But congratulations to Georgia. You earned that W, and you deserve to be SEC champs because what you did, you rallied around that kid, Stockton, and he awarded you with a big-time touchdown to put you up in the game and the big-time touchdown, the run to set up the touchdown where he got popped in overtime. Stones, my brother, stones. And he set you up for a W. You owe that young man a big-time congratulations because you would not have won that game without him being the one who was the key contributor to the win and the SEC championship that Georgia got.
You done?
No, one more thing. Get Ewers out. Start the process of Arch Manning starting for Texas now.
Oh, man.
Now I'm done.
I've been in the background laughing the whole time.
I bet. And I mean every single word.
You know what the funny thing is,
him
ladies
out
and
of the
gentlemen?
playoffs.
You know what the funny thing is, ladies and gentlemen? What he said, which I heard him say, is the exact same thing I messaged him.
Because we see the game the same way. Like, we see the game the same way because I'm like, come on, man. You can't have Ewers make boneheaded decisions on the field like that. And on the other side, you actually see them rally around their backup QB. You mean to tell me that Texas could do the same thing with Arch Manning? You mean to tell me they couldn't?
I get you now. He'll testify. I texted him. I said, yeah, y'all deserve to lose this game because your coach is more worried about how many holding calls his offense is getting opposed to Georgia.
And you're right. We did deserve to lose this game. And that was what infuriated me. I'm like, you're actually defensively playing this team right. I mean, defensively, you can't play this team better. You got a chance to win this game, not steal it, outright win it. But you're not focused on the game. You're focused on the referees.
When he said that at halftime, I forgot who was in here. I think it was Lauren. She was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to ask another question." They kick it right over to the other side and talk to Kirby Smart. I was just like, did he really just say that?
Because
Did he really just say hopefully they'll get one of these holding calls?
I'll put it to you this way, bro. What you said on the money. Texas deserved to lose this game because of how focused Steve Sarkisian was not. And I hope he learns the lesson that you cannot take your. I would think that this is something that he shouldn't learn because he did sit under the seat of King Nick Saban. I would think you would know. You can't take your eyes off the ball. You got to focus on beating these teams, beating Alabama, beating Georgia, beating LSU, beating Florida when they're good, beating Tennessee. You got to focus on the game all 60 minutes. Otherwise,
When
if
they're
you
healthy.
spend and when they're healthy, but heck, and for this year, beating South Carolina, you got to focus 60 minutes on beating these teams. Otherwise, if you take your focus off just this much, the coaches on the other side will take advantage, and you will sit like Sarkisian sitting in Austin now in his office, like, how the heck did I F this game up? How did I F this game up?
How? I can show you how. Start only tied for 71 yards, but guess what? The Bulldogs said, "We got you. We got you. You play the game that you know how to play. We got you covered." Quinn Ewers threw for over 350 yards.
I don't give a crap.
And yet we saying Quinn Ewers is not a big game quarterback.
He's not. I'm sorry. Your defense gives you opportunity after opportunity.
By the way, where's the running game?
They give you opportunity after opportunity, and this is how you reward the defense. Yes, the running game was non-existent.
When you hear Texas, you hear physicality.
Mm-hmm.
We're running the football.
Now, defensively, the physicality was there. Offensively, not even close. Not even close. Not even close. They would be too. This is the focus or lack thereof of Steve Sarkisian that upsets me. You played into Georgia's hands by being too cute offensively. Don't be cute against them. Smack them in the doggone mouth.
So, yeah.
And this another thing. Like I said, Golden, he was going to goal in the first, the second, and third quarter. I can't remember a pass he threw to goal in the fourth or overtime. I can't remember one.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have where you can exploit them in the passing game. Do that and try to actually smack them in the mouth by running the ball, but they couldn't do that. But Georgia could.
Georgia reclaims the SEC and told Texas, newcomer, you're going to have to wait.
Not your turn yet. And yeah. And that's why, as a Texas fan, I'm not going to say Georgia got lucky. No, they didn't get lucky. They did what they were supposed to do. They said, you coming in our backyard, we're going to show you what it takes to win in the SEC, and you don't have it yet. You don't have what it takes to be the big dogs in the SEC yet. We do. And we're going to show you that you don't have it. And they did Saturday.
And then the final 3 games for championship weekend, the Sun Belt was a belt beating.
The Sun Belt was a sunset.
For Marshall. They went down to Louisiana and rode the Raging Cajuns 31-3. Quarterback Braylon Bratson for Marshall, 18 for 26, 193, 2 touchdowns. Running back for Marshall, Jordan Houston, 17 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown.
Modest game. Good one, but modest.
They went down to Louisiana and beat you by 28.
Les un bon temps roulé. I'm sorry, that's Cajun will let the good times roll. That's what Marshall did.
And then the Big Ten championship, competitive game.
Competitive, but this was Oregon's all the way.
Competitive game.
It was, but this game was Oregon's all the way.
Number one stays number one. The only unbeaten team stays the only unbeaten team. 45-37. One of the highest scoring Big Ten championship games they have seen.
Well, when you have a game that was 59-0. I'm sorry. My bad. That's in poor taste.
I'm getting to that team later on, too. Dylan Gabriel, 22 for 32, 283, and 4 touchdowns.
You know he's starting to impress me. It's unfortunate. And this is, I think, the reason why I think West Coast teams don't get the love they deserve. Although I think this actually might benefit Oregon and Washington when they get their weight up, so to speak. You don't really get, and we were talking about this with Jeanty, but with Jeanty, and it might be a little better since Mountain West is going to get big conference love. When you see Oregon, you might see them at those mid-afternoon, Saturday afternoon kicks, but most of the games are at night. And let's be honest, you live on the East Coast. Those kicks sometimes would be about 10 o'clock. And many people in the East are like, screw this, I'm going to sleep. And they wouldn't be aware of studs like Gabriel. But he has actually put together a really good, he has put together a Heisman type of year, but he's not getting that love. And it's unfortunate.
Yep. And then we get down to the final championship game where the chaos took place.
Oh, before you get there, James Franklin, win a big game. Can you do that for me, please? When you see a 0 and a number in front, 1 through 9, can you actually beat a team that is ranked 1 through 9 for me at least one time, please? Do that for me. Just win a top 10 game. Just win one top 10 game. Please. Please.
I'll save my comments for later.
Just win one top 10 game. That's all I'm asking. One.
And the game where the world was upset on pins and needles.
SMU was, which they should have been.
I'm talking about the world. I'm explaining why. Because it was this game right here that everybody was looking at. SMU, hell of a season.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't even thought about making a run in the ACC. Wasn't even thought about.
And still a good season. Yeah.
Wasn't even thought about.
No, they weren't.
But they was the first team to clinch.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole Syracuse Miami thing happened, and Clemson and the Fighting Dabos got a second chance at life.
The Dabo Swinnies.
And they took that second chance very seriously to start this game.
Dabo Swinnies have to thank Syracuse for their opportunity to play in Charlotte.
They came out smoking SMU.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Chaos is brewing in Charlotte.
Yeah, whatever Dabo told his Swinnies. Yeah, they got the message early.
You know how I know it was gonna be. You don't know how I know the word was on pins and needles. Because when I made that post, I was getting the crying emojis. Not the like, not the heart, the crying one.
Mm-hmm.
People was nervous, like, no, this is like the worst thing that can happen right now for obvious reasons, but we're gonna get to it.
Talking about when Miami lost to Syracuse, or the first half of Clemson?
No, the first half of the game.
Clemson beating on SMU?
Yeah. It was like people's worst nightmares coming to fruition when it came to college football.
No,
it
obviously
was looking ugly.
Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, so if Clemson wins, I'm hoping it's a close game. But if Clemson routs SMU, then we'll be hearing the talk of, well, who deserves to be in, Alabama or Miami? Yeah.
And then the second half took place.
Thank you. I hate to say it because I don't want to give anything from Dallas props. Although, yes, I have friends who live in Dallas now. But I don't want to give anything from Dallas props all that much. but thank you, SMU, for a stellar second half.
The Fighting Ponies came storming back to tie the game up at 31. And then a 56-yard field goal.
The ensuing kickoff.
A 56-yard field goal at the horn gives the Fighting Devils their spot right back at the top of the Atlantic
AFC
Coast
food
Conference.
chain. Yeah, ACC food chain. Yep. The spot that they have pretty much been for the last decade.
SMU put on a hell of a second half because they did not have, they didn't even have half of the yards of the total yards that they had in the first half.
They showed what type of fight they have, and I think the second half, and in particular that fourth quarter, to me, I think that is what put them over, and I think that's what won. I think that's what made a lot of people believers, and I think when they actually got a chance to tie the game, to me, there was like okay, it doesn't matter what this team does. They actually got a W, even if this game is an L for them. And I'm actually proud of SMU, even though they come from Dallas.
K caught it 262 through the air for touchdowns. His best game of the season.
Easily.
Kevin Jennings.
And that was done with no running game. So yeah.
Kevin Jennings, 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He did throw the 1 interception, but hey, it's the 3 touchdowns because the 3 touchdowns got them back in the game.
Yeah, I was about to say the first half was shaky. The second half and the fourth quarter, and it wasn't shaky.
So there you go. Your champions of 2024. Jacksonville State. Jesus Christ. Demolishing. Just demolishing. Boise State in the Mountain West.
Solid.
Army for the American.
300 plus on the ground. I love you, Army, just for that alone.
We also talking. Take this down. Arizona State picked last, but finished first in the Big 12.
Congratulations to ASU. I'm glad you showed fight.
Ohio.
Miami.
I'm just gonna say Ohio and not even mention the other team because the other team didn't even show up at 4.
I feel bad. I feel bad for you, Miami. I'll mention you. I feel bad for you, Miami, Ohio.
Woo!
That was a butt whooping.
The game that my good friend here had to go off on because yep.
In Texas,
ATL
you need to be out of the playoffs.
Yep.
Out.
ACC is back to being a dog nation.
Woosa. Yes, congratulations to Clemson.
Sun Belt.
I still hate your SMU, but congratulations.
Marshall went down to Louisiana and ate all the gumbo.
Poor Louisiana Lafayette.
Oregon doing Oregon things.
Good win. Solid win. James Franklin, give me a win versus a top 10 team. I will say this to you right now. No spoiler alert. Any team that has a 0 in front of their number in a rank from 1 to 9, I don't care what conference they're in, I'm going to pick them over you every time.
And then Clemson brought the chaos that nobody wanted.
Well, in the first half they did.
So
SMU shut that down. So I appreciate that.
That was your championship gridiron roundup. All right, we're going to take a break. I think this is the longest we went without taking a break on this show. We're going to take a break because next, and probably for the rest of the show, the college football playoffs are official.
I hate it.
Yeah. Did the committee get it right? What changes need to be made? So much to talk about. Stick with us. We'll be back.
One change needs to be made.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. You kids on the block. New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck. Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join Ryan McCarthy
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
and Dustin Henry
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
as they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
Shop hats and official sports gear at Liz. Liz is the leader and #1 destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you, making it the perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gear. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback adjustable fitted hat or beanie from thousands of college and pro teams. Browse the very latest sports jerseys and t-shirts from the best teams out there. Liz has officially licensed professional and college sport team apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country. Locker Rooms by Liz.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening,
this Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern.
exclusively on Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Monday at 3:05 p.m. Eastern, 2:05 p.m. Central. Exclusively on the Sertoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where's my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where's my soldiers? Left side.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bearing Down and Gridiron here on this special Monday. Cole Johnson in the building with me. He blew up. I'm gonna let y'all know. Y'all thought he brought up all this thing that he could with Texas. He ain't done yet. He's not done yet. I can tell you that right now. But before he blows off some more steam,
I have more steam to blow off me.
the college football playoffs, they are officially set.
Yeah.
We have our bracket. Now, before we dive into the deep discussion, let's just go through what this is. Here are the final rankings here, and I'm going to talk about these rankings in a bit. Trust me.
Okay.
Oregon 1, obviously. Georgia 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Notre Dame 5, Ohio State 6, Tennessee 7, Indiana 8, Boise 9, SMU 10, Alabama 11. Number 12 is Arizona State.
Congratulations, SMU, for making the top 10. And I say that with no malice and no pettiness. For those who don't know, because you actually not only do you know college football, you know your college football history pretty well too. SMU, they suffered the death penalty almost 40 years ago, and it was supposed to take them maybe 10 to 15 years to get to this point, but it took them almost 40. they have not even sniffed the top 10 until this year. And so for them to finish a college football season in the top 10, they haven't done that since Eric Dickerson was running in the backfield with them. And we're talking then 1982. So they haven't been in the top 10 in over 40 years. So congratulations to Southern Methodist for making it back there.
Yeah. As you see, Clemson is down at 16.
Mhm.
This is how the brackets went. Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State, they get buys into the quarterfinals. Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Ohio State are hosting first round games.
Right.
Hosting against Clemson,
Mhm.
SMU, Indiana, and Tennessee.
Right.
Give you a better view. This is what it looks like right here. First order of business for me. You see this on the right side. You see the CLP rankings. Do away with that.
Right.
Do away with it. Next year, I don't want to hear anything about the college football playoff committee doing rankings. Only thing I want y'all to do is what is on the right side. Let me know who has these 12 spots.
Well, I'll say it this way. For those of you who they need another understanding as to what that is, yes. In terms of the playoff, the side on the left doesn't matter. That matters only for ADs and for college campuses and for athletic directors and the deans. That basically says, yeah, our season was really good because, you know, a program like Texas, we finished number 3 for the season.
But you seeded fifth.
Correct. But we finished number 3 for the season. We had a wonderful season.
No first round bye.
Woosah.
Hey,
but
Clemson is ranked 16.
No.
ACC champion.
Clemson's ranked 16. They're ranked 12th. They came in 16th in the CFP, final CFP. Right. I understand it, but that's basically what that is. That's for ADs and deans to say, yeah, our program is good. And because look, you got Ole Miss, you got Miami. They just swung and missed. Oh, you got Alabama, who they're ranked number 11. But how dare they be ranked number 11 and not even be in the playoff? Don't lose 24-3 to Oklahoma.
Yeah. SMU's in, Alabama's out. See, here's the thing. I want every matter of fact, let me take this down. I want everybody to see me. All you people, and there's no bigger SEC guy than me right here. You don't believe me? Ask that guy right there.
That is correct.
I don't want to hear anybody talk about SMU would have been this and that in the SEC. This team would have been this and that in the SEC.
And
how many games Alabama lost?
1, no. 2, no. 3.
They lost 3. Of those 3 losses, how many of them are respectable?
1. That would be the L they took in Knoxville. Because the other 2 L's, the one in Nashville against Vanderbilt and the one in Norman against Oklahoma, both of them were unranked teams. Oh, when the Oklahoma one, they didn't even manage to score a touchdown in that game.
I want y'all to look at me. The committee did the right thing. You know why? Because if you're going to put emphasis on conference championships,
which you should,
do not punish SMU for playing in a conference championship game. When what was Ole Miss this weekend?
Ole Miss was at home.
Where was South Carolina this weekend?
They were playing. No, Clem. That was last week. They were at home.
What was Miami?
Miami. Well, they were in shut. No. They decided to screw the pooch in Syracuse. They were at home.
Where was Alabama?
Alabama, they were at home. They
So,
probably traveled to Atlanta, but they had to travel to Atlanta to be spectators.
so y'all want Alabama in because they are part of the SEC, which is the best conference in football.
It is.
But they couldn't play for the conference championship.
That's correct.
SMU did.
And not only did they play for a conference championship, they actually had a good showing in that same game. A really good showing in it.
So do you want conference championships to matter, or do you want to do them away? Because those are your two options.
Good question.
If you want to be crowned champions of a conference, shut up. Alabama didn't play. SMU did.
Right. That's
you
correct.
want to do away with conference championships? Fine. Then we can do the 12 best teams. But guess what? It's still going to be far. How are you going to equally evaluate the 12 teams?
And how could you come out the side of your mouth and say, quote, well, I guess we have to reevaluate strength of schedule, close quote. No, you don't.
I'm glad you said that because I've been away on this. Come here, Alabama. You want to reevaluate non-conference game because you didn't make it? Accountability. You go to Kellen DeBoer. You go to that football team. He says, "You see what happens when you took your asses down to Norman, Oklahoma, and you failed to show up.
Got whooped. And
24-3.
And you should not have been whooped. A loss, fine. You should not have been whooped by Oklahoma. But your boys got whooped.
Now, Pine Fireball, who is the mouth of the South, he came out and said, hey, they got it wrong, this, that. But he did say, Alabama didn't look in the mirror. Because you did it to yourself.
Yeah. I'm sorry. 3 L's, and 2 of them are inexcusable L's. I mean, the Vanderbilt L.
A shootout.
It got trounced by the Oklahoma L because you only scored a field goal. But that Vanderbilt L is still embarrassing because you were feeling your oats because you came off of that wonderful victory at home against Georgia, and you felt, and I know you all were thinking within your gut, oh, we'll see Georgia again in Atlanta come December. I know that's what you all were thinking, but you all were thinking it's so bad and so tough that you just dismissed Vanderbilt to the point where you had one Mr. Nick Saban say, quote, the easiest game to play in the SEC is actually in Nashville where Vanderbilt plays. Close quote. He actually said that the week of the game where Alabama traveled to Nashville. And what happened? You trailed the whole way.
Now, before I continue on, ladies and gentlemen, the man of Snowman Multimedia is here to join us, Brian Snow.
What's up, man?
Afternoon, gentlemen. What's going on?
Afternoon, Mr. Snow. What's up?
Now, this loudmouth of the South right here talking about the path of least resistance. When Alabama didn't take a look in the mirror because they thought the path of least resistance was through Nashville, Tennessee, after they had a wonderful victory against Georgia, as my very dear friend Cole Johnson just said. There's one problem. Alabama got socked in the mouth.
They trailed the whole game. They did not hold a lead at any point in that contest.
And there were no ties.
Me and Cole was on this show talking about that game too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. I'm a fan of the show, and I'm a faithful subscriber and listener. And you guys hit the nail right on the head. Listen, Alabama, as you guys said, was feeling themselves, and I'm sorry I'm late. Alabama was feeling themselves after the wonderful victory against Georgia, which they almost choked away
in the second half. That's correct.
In the second half, up 30-7, and trailed for a few minutes, 34-33. You allowed Georgia, Alabama,
all the way back,
27 unanswered points before you woke up. And then you got put in a sleep hold by Vanderbilt and out. And then You go to Oklahoma, a team that's struggling in the SEC. And I know my partner, the playmaker, Darnell Solins, will love the reference I'm about to use, or references I'm about to use. In that game, you took a tombstone pile driver, a rock bottom, and a stone cold stunner and lost 24-3. 24-3. And people are raising hell about, why isn't Alabama in the playoff? Let's see. Vanderbilt is one reason. Let me see. Oklahoma is another reason.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that? Huh?
Actually, Oklahoma was the death knell.
Yeah, but
Oklahoma was it.
And I said that to people. I'm like, man, look, for those who are saying Alabama, they deserve to be in the playoff. Look,
No,
I'm
they
sorry.
don't.
That 24-3 L they took in Norman, that pretty much was the nail in the coffin.
If you don't lose 24-3 to Oklahoma, we're not having this discussion.
We're not having this discussion.
At all,
having this conversation.
because Alabama is in the playoff,
Yeah,
and they're most likely
they're definitely in the SEC
playing for
championship.
the SEC. Thank you, Cole. You took the exact thought out of my head. A, they're playing for the SEC championship, and B, they're holding a spot in the playoff. It just depends, I beg your pardon, on if they are hosting a first round game or if they are hosting a second round game. That is all. If they beat Oklahoma, we're not having this discussion.
No.
At all. Period.
No.
You lose to Vanderbilt, you lose at 10, you go over the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
The same way Colorado goes over the state of Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take a stone cold stunner against Oklahoma. Really? Yeah. And you wonder why you're not in the playoff?
So I'm gonna need my ACC people to shut up.
Please do.
Okay.
Oh.
We got 3 teams in. Okay, we got Georgia, we got Texas, and we got Tennessee.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so
Shut
glad
up.
they played.
Jay Spivey said the same thing this morning on Snowman in the Morning. And Cole, I know you love talking to Jay just as we do.
Mm-hmm. Very knowledgeable.
He said a statement that pretty much echoes what the playmaker just said. The worst football conference is the Atlantic Coast Conference, period.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no denying that. I double dare y'all to I double dare you to deny that.
No, right now it's Clemson, and I hate to say it, and it said SMU, wonderful season. Miami, great season. But to me, the ACC is Clemson, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, I'm not gonna be petty right now.
No, and I'm not even being petty.
I'm not gonna be petty right now.
I'm not being petty. I mean, it's Clemson.
No, I know you being serious. I'm finna be petty. I'm not gonna.
But I'm about to be petty in a second.
Oh, I'm gonna join you.
Oh, I'm about to be petty in about. No, in fact, I'm about to be petty right now.
Go for it, brother.
Now for the State fan,
because Cole knew exactly what I was going to do.
For you clowns,
I was thinking about that too.
For you clowns to jump on what Jalen Ramsey said about, well, why is Georgia in the playoff, but they have a backup quarterback? You allow them in, but Florida State, they had an undefeated season last year, but you didn't let them in with a backup QB.
Do you know how many ways I can tear that apart?
You know how many ways I can tear that apart?
I know, and I'm gonna allow you all to tear it apart. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this avenue. So fine, okay. So let me get this straight. So Florida State last year, so they beat the number 1 and number 2 ranked team last year, like Georgia did this year. I mean, if we're going to compare apples to apples here, so that means Florida State, they played the number 1 ranked team, number 2 ranked team. They beat them both times. So that's what happened to Florida State last year as of this year, right? So they actually, the conference champions had buys, had secured buys last year, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Oh, then I totally must have forgotten.
You
We're playing two different styles of playoffs here. Look, Florida State undefeated season. That's understandable. It sucked that you all had to sit on the outside looking in last year. I'm not saying that was. I'm not saying that was great. I'm not saying that was foul. I mean, it's just how it was. But you cannot compare that apple to this apple because it's a different brand of apple. Georgia earned a bye because that's how it was this year. Guess what would have happened last year if they instituted the same college football playoff? Your backup quarterback behind in Florida State would have had a bye. But you didn't have that system. You had to deal with the 4 best teams, and that's that. That's just how it was. That's how it
goes.
Now, if you want to relax the grind, I'll take you back to 2008. You know when you didn't have to decide who was the 4 best teams, you had to decide who was the best 2.
Yes.
And Texas, they beat Oklahoma 45-35. Now, they eventually lost to Texas Tech. And in Texas Tech, they went on to lose to Oklahoma.
Yep.
The 3 teams ended their season conference-wise 7-1. All 3 teams. No, sorry, 8-1. 8-1. All 3 teams, 8-1. Oklahoma got to play in the conference championship. But Texas beat them head-to-head. You want an axe to grind? That's an axe to grind. Because we didn't even get a chance as Texas to play for a conference championship, let alone a national championship, and we beat the team to play for it, and we had the same record as they did to end the season before the conference championship round was played. And, of course, Oklahoma being Oklahoma, they screwed that up and got trounced. But you all at Florida State, why are you whining over this? Because your team is garbage now. I mean, look, it's to the point where you all have shown more fight when you had a University of Florida player put a flag on the Seminole in the middle of Doak Campbell Stadium than you had even before the conference championship game of last year.
Right.
And you all have the nerve to say to me, well, we got jobs, we got hoes. So you got jobs, you got hoes. Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, yes, I remember the beloved governor of your state, Mr. Playmaker. He said that he was going to file a lawsuit against the NCAA.
Yep.
So tell me, Florida State. So tell me, Florida State fan, how is that lawsuit going?
He ain't even filed it.
If it's going, and you that was my next thought. If
he
it's going,
and that's where I was going. I'm like, you all are putting so much emphasis on something that does not matter, that even your governor of your state, who claims my son and my daughter do the chop, and we are big Florida State fans. Shut up. Please. It is a non-factor. And it goes back to what I said.
Exactly.
Your school does not matter anymore. It is Clemson and then everybody else in the ACC. That's why you tried to sue to get out of the conference. And the conference was like, no, you're staying in. That is how insignificant you are.
Yeah, Florida State. How did that go for you? Try to sue to get out of the conference, you idiots.
Jalen Ramsey. I need you to focus more on getting the Dolphins in the playoffs than worrying about Florida State trying to make a playoffs.
Can he focus on actually staying on the field?
He's been real to the hip this year. That's why I said
good.
Relatively. Can he focus on staying on the field?
Cole broke down the 2 different systems. Last year, 4 teams got in. And refresh my memory. Who said that the injury of Jordan Travis is going to cost Florida State the opportunity?
That would be one Mr. Darnell Playmaker.
That would be the Playmaker.
Why did I say that? Because y'all didn't look like the same team.
Right.
And they did not. You're correct.
So now let's bring in Georgia. Since that's what Jalen Ramsey brought in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the same team that boat raced them?
Yeah, those of you who wasn't here when Coach Johnson had his get off moments. Carson Beck is the starting quarterback for Georgia.
That
He
was
got hurt just before halftime.
Yep.
Coach Johnson, what happened in the second half?
Well, then you had Quentin Stockton come into play, and then the very first drive of that of the time that he got on the field, marched down the field like the Texas defense didn't exist.
Like it was
and
nothing.
scored a touch, like it's nothing, and scored a touchdown.
And by the way,
And the team
Coach-
rallied around him
Yep.
because of it.
and they got a hit. And Georgia has a history. I've been watching Georgia
They do.
football, and as y'all know, I have been a fan of Georgia football since 1980. Thank you, Herschel Walker, and thank you, Larry Munson. One thing that my wife said when she checked out part of the game with me, she said, "This kid is ready." And of course, she's talking about Gunnar Stockton because she watched that first drive and echoed your words, Cole, of how Georgia rallied around him, even without their leader in Carson Beck. And how they rallied around him as he marched them right down the field and socked your Longhorns in the stomach.
So on
Your
one
point
hand,
Florida
one
State.
backup quarterback and that team didn't look good. On the other hand, backup quarterback comes in at halftime and the team plays better.
actually looks
And
much
the team
better.
plays better.
And I mean the
That
whole
right
team.
there
The
kills your
defense
argument
even-
right there,
right.
Florida State.
The defense even played better in that game the second
The
half.
defense was hyped. Listen,
Yeah.
Texas piled up 280 yards in the first 30 minutes.
That pissed me off.
Okay.
Only managed 2 field goals. That pissed
And
me
only
off.
managed 6 points. If you're a team as powerful as Texas once was, and you get 280 or even close to 300 yards in the first half, you should have at least 4 touchdowns on the board and should be blowing this injured, beat up Georgia team out of the water.
Yes, Mr. Snow.
Can I get a witness in this congregation?
That
If
is
you
why
get
I am
300
pissed off
yards
at
in the
teams are
first,
chasing
and you should be. I watched that game. Hell, I was in the process of calling that game before my computer here decided to take a dump.
Now, here's the interesting thing, because it is between Florida State and Georgia, correct?
Yeah.
So, let's go back to last year. So when the things happened, Alabama gets in. Georgia, who was the reigning defending 2-time national champions, didn't make it because they lost to Alabama.
Right.
And some of us had a problem with that.
Yep.
Some of us had a problem with that. And Florida State didn't get in.
And I'm
But
the one
we
that-
understood Florida State's complaint. We understood it.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
we
But
also
the team they
knew-
didn't make it to the Final Four.
But we also
Absolutely we
knew how the committee was looking at it with the 14 playoffs.
See, because we 3 kings right here of college sports actually do something that we like to call what do you call it? Cole?
RCH
Research. What do I always say? Gentlemen, y'all heard me say it on Snowman in the Morning. You've heard me say it on the Brian Snow. What do I always say to these people? Do your what?
Research. You must do your research.
You must.
So when the bowl game was announced, we're gonna put Georgia versus Florida State in the Orange Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, number
One
5 versus
team
number
said,
6. Right.
one team said, okay, that's how y'all feel.
We're gonna
show you.
We're gonna show you we belong in that playoff.
We're gonna come out guns a-blazing, and that we thank you, Cole, for saying it for me. That we belong in that playoff. Because
The other team said, I don't even want to play.
I don't even want to do it. I don't want to do anything.
And decided to have most of their starters sit out.
I don't even want to play. I don't care.
We talked
You got
about
your
that.
ass whooped down in Miami. Your home state, by the way.
63-3.
63-3.
They whooped your ass. It's like y'all was TCU all over again.
And to me that shuts up the whole argument. I'm like,
and then let's go to what happened this season. What was Georgia at the end of the season?
Georgia was
playing for the Southeastern Conference Championship. Where was Florida State? I know. 2-10 season.
Well, but
I'll answer that question. He said, "Where was Florida State?" I'll answer that question, and I'm going to be totally petty at the same time because I know quite a few Florida State fans. They were sitting at home on their ass where they got knocked last year by Georgia.
But I love it though because where was Florida State? Well, they were licking their chops and they showed more fight in that scrum after Florida spanked them in Doak Campbell than they ever did in the fight they had playing in the Orange Bowl of last year and all throughout this year. They even traveled to Europe and took a butt whooping.
By Georgia Tech, a team they have owned since the miracle of 2016 in Atlanta.
And Florida State fans still has the nerve to say, well, you have a backup QB for Georgia that went through, and they went through for 2 losses. Meanwhile, we with 0 losses last year didn't even sniff the college football playoff. Stop with the fake. Stop with the fake sour grapes. Come on, man. Stop.
So yes, I had to get that in there because but back to my Alabama fans. Shut up. You don't lose to Oklahoma. And the crazy thing is, I don't even know why we start talking about. I'm gonna have to reschedule non-conference. Your losses wasn't non-conference.
All of them were in the SEC.
Yep,
all of them was in the SEC.
All 3 were in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
You did not show up in Norman.
Yep, sure didn't.
You didn't show up in Norman. Nor did you show up both times you visited Tennessee.
And both times. And this is not the only time we saw a team go 0 for the state. Again, I mentioned Colorado.
Look, I'm gonna put it like this: us ACC fans, us the Southeastern Conference, that includes Cole Johnson because Texas is involved
now
with
in
this
SEC.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
we can't have it both ways.
No.
Either you want to be called conference champion and have it mean something, or you do not.
Mm-hmm.
And the committee said we have to make sure conference championship weekend means something.
Oh, it has to mean something.
That reminds me of another point.
Yes, sir.
So, and this is in the same vein. You got Ohio State fan saying, "Well, why in the heck is Penn State having a being higher ranked than we are? I mean, we beat them. Oh, you forgotten that you took an L in Eugene, and then Ryan Day decided to do what he normally does against Michigan,
not show up."
Speaking of
meanwhile, Penn State only had the 1 L in
Ohio State,
but it was just that 1 L. That's it.
I did those 2 games, Penn State and Ohio State from Happy Valley, and I'm playing the Penn State song now, and Ohio State and Michigan. What's the argument that we always made about James Franklin?
He can't
win the big game.
What happened to Ryan Day in Columbus against his big rival?
He just simply does not measure up against Michigan.
Period.
And he proved it once again.
Oh, Cole Johnson. What was that word that I told people to hold on to until we got to this point?
What was that word?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
What was that word? Oh, yes, accountability.
Exactly. Yes. Where's the accountability? Alabama, look at yourself in the mirror. We got to ask what that on Norman, Oklahoma. That sucks.
Yeah, that's the reason why you were eliminated.
Ohio State fans, they more mad at Ryan Day than anybody. They ain't even mad at
Blue and Maize messed our season up again. Yeah.
Yep.
You got to do that.
Why are we playing? They're calling for Ryan Day's head.
They should. Why are we playing in the Big 12? Why are we playing in the Big Ten championship? You lost at home to Michigan.
You lost
a Wofford, Michigan team.
Wait. You lost at home to an unranked Michigan team.
You lost at home to Michigan and only scored 10 points. A high-flying, this is what I was told before I started our coverage on Saturday. That Saturday, a high-flying Ohio State team that put up 31 against Oregon, but played yourself in the final 40 seconds. You were relieved to see Indiana and blow them out after being in a dogfight against Penn State in Happy Valley, and you should have lost.
Penn State gave to you because
you beat me. You were right there. You're right there with me. You should have lost that game.
Should have lost to Penn State for sure.
You should have lost to Penn State, but Penn State said, and James Franklin said, "Here, we don't want it."
Yeah, they gave you a gift.
James Franklin went James Franklin.
Yep,
against a top 10 ranked team and not show up.
Cole, I love you for that. He went full James Franklin.
Mhm.
And then Ryan Day went full Ryan Day against all the teams. All the teams in the world. Michigan.
An
All the teams in the world.
hold on. An unranked Michigan team in Columbus.
In Columbus.
Who can't pass the ball worth the damn?
If there was any year where you would say, well, Ryan Day should have a gift wrap W against Michigan, an unranked Wolverines team in Columbus would be the offering. Who can't pass it all?
Look at it. Me and Cole, we all talked about Army. You know what's coming against Army, and Tulane still couldn't stop it.
And it's not like you don't have tape. You can just simply go to the game they beat USC with. They could throw worth a darn in that game. 300 yards against them. I'm like, you know what they're gonna do.
Well, I've seen it in high school ball all the time, especially back home in Chicago. There was a team I covered, Brother Rice High School, went up against Lincoln Way East. Okay, irresistible force versus immovable object. Brother Rice loved to attack through the air. Lincoln Way East attacked through the ground. There were 1,100 yards in that game, but Lincoln Way East squeaked out with the win by doing the most basic thing you can do: run the ball. You know how many yards Lincoln Way East had in that state playoff game? 512.
Yeah.
Brother Rice had 486, but most of that was through the air. And they nearly came all the way back and snatched that one. But if you have the ability to run the football, which Ohio State allowed Michigan to do
all game long,
for the last 4 games, what has Michigan done to destroy Ohio State's chances for a national championship?
Literally run them out of the
They
playoffs.
ran them out of the play. They ran them out of the playoffs the last 4 years.
4 years.
So
they ran them out of a number. They ran them out of a number 4
this year. Yeah.
They ran Ohio State not only out of Lucas Oil Stadium and allowed Penn State to slip in. They ran Ohio State right into a first round upset against Tennessee. I'm calling it now.
Well, number one next year committee don't do no rankings.
None.
Just tell me who the 12 teams are and why they right there.
They shouldn't do it. They shouldn't do any rankings until November. To me,
none.
No, they should do no rankings at all.
They should not do.
They say who the 12 teams are and why they there. Because when you did the rankings, you have the 9th ranked team in your opinion having a first round bye.
I get it. No, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just know how college football operates.
Oh, I'm not. I'm.
We all do.
If the ADs, if all these chairmen, if all these councils want to make college football better, tell the committee. Just tell us the 12 teams week to week. That way we understand what needs to be done. Do not rank them, because when you rank them and you see them differently, it makes everything look stupid.
Well, that's what NCAA does. So I'm actually surprised.
NCAA has been doing that since the 80s when they had the mythical national championship. And I'm going to make Cole smile with this reference. I referenced the year 1984.
Yeah.
There was a fellow by the name of Robbie Bosco who led Brigham Young University somehow, some way, when no one saw what the hell they were doing each and every week, save the scores in the newspaper. And Cole, I make that reference for a reason, because that's what we do, to a national championship. And most of us that were really getting into the game are going, who? Because all the talk was about Robbie Bosco late in the season. I'm talking about November all the way to the end of the bowl day. And of course, it ended on January 1st. To this day, most people that watch the games with me are going, who in the hell is Robbie Bosco?
And he followed Jim McMahon and Steve Young.
Yep. They sure did.
Number one, get rid of the rankings. Number two, Alabama and ACC, shut up.
But the thing is, I'm not surprised. This is how the NCAA rolls. I'm actually surprised that they got the playoff bracket correct, because I expected them to botch that.
Number three, The system is flawed.
Yep. The
We
system
need
is still flawed.
we need to correct it in some form or fashion. One way you can correct it: no automatic buys.
Right.
Automatic bids, yes.
Automatic
No
bids, but no
automatics.
automatic buys.
But if they're going to do it in this style, this 12 is going to have to be up to 16.
They're already going to
Yeah.
16.
It's going to have to be. It has to be going to 16.
No, they
It
already
has to.
confirmed it's going to 16 before you even got to the 12 team. It was already confirmed it was going to 16.
It has to be 16. That's how you get rid of the buys.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm saying don't give automatic buys to conference champions.
No, I get that. I'm saying
Right.
you get rid of the buys altogether by making
You can get rid of the
16
buys,
deal.
but if you're gonna do buys, do the top 4 teams deserving of buys.
Oh, I
Correct.
agree.
Correct.
But you know that won't happen because
Nope.
because the NCAA does not want to hear, well, we won our conference championship. How you going to rank a team that didn't even go to the conference championship be ranked higher, or the team that
Right.
went to the conference championship and didn't win it, like Texas this year?
Mm-hmm.
How the
Simple.
heck would you have them get a bye because they didn't even win their conference championship? You would receive that complaint.
They're gonna complain anyway.
So
there's
that's
no
why
there's no getting rid of
so
complaining.
that's why I say get rid of buys, period.
Yes.
So you can do that, and guess what? Treat it like college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody plays the first round game on campus.
Yeah.
Everybody plays the second round game on campus.
And then when
you get to the
the
quarterfinals, that's when you move.
side games. Yeah.
That's when you move to the 4 major bowls. All right, 4 of the 6, rather. The semifinals take the 2 biggest ones, and I think the semifinals should the semifinals rotate between bowls? I don't think so.
They have to because the Rose Bowl is not moving off New Year's Day.
I was going to say, I think how they're going to have to play it, they're going to have to rotate the 6 between probably the quarterfinals and the semifinals.
Right.
So the Rose Bowl is not trying to move off of New Year's Day.
They won't.
refuse.
True. They won't.
True.
So it's between the rose, the cotton, the orange, the peach. Oh, good Lord! What other bowls?
Orange
The
Bowl,
Fiesta,
Cotton Bowl,
and the
Peach
Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl, and
the
Rose
Sugar Bowl.
So it has to rotate between those 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 4.
35.
So no, it's 6. So yeah, so 4 of those are the conference final, and the other 2 that you don't. And you can rotate those 2, and they can be the semifinals. And of course, you can still have the bidding for the national championship game where it's going to be played.
Mm-hmm. And this year it's in Atlanta.
Yep, it's in Atlanta.
This year it is in Atlanta. They got this one right, putting SMU in and keeping Alabama out.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see Oregon in the Rose Bowl.
Right.
You will see Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You will see Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yep.
And you will see Arizona State in the Peach Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that on purpose, to be honest.
They sure did.
Because Arizona State being in Fiesta Bowl,
home advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
home advantage, and
state. Yeah,
and then they played right down the way from Tempe.
Yeah,
they played 40 minutes. It's a 40-minute basically walk from Tempe to Glendale.
Right. So I got why they didn't put Arizona State in Fiesta. I got that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making sure my audience understands. So yeah, they try to make it as neutral as they could,
right?
While still trying to make sure that those who are fans of the teams that have bias have an opportunity to see that team.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't want to put Georgia back in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
No,
that's in their backyard. You couldn't do that.
That's in their backyard.
Yeah, so you wouldn't put them there, but you can't put them to Sugar. Yeah,
they'd have a little bit of a travel, but not much.
Right,
and still, it would still be in their backyard.
Basically,
in a way, it basically would be in their backyard still.
Right.
So Boise State would kick off the quarterfinals on December 1st, New Year's Eve. That is at 7:30. And then the other 3 teams will be on New Year's Day, starting with the Peach Bowl.
Yep, that's at noon.
Then the Rose and then the Sugar. That's how it normally goes.
And we at Snowman Multimedia will help to introduce in a big way Snowman Sportsnet. And we're going to do all 4 of them beginning New Year's Eve. So Watch out. We're going to be busy.
All right, so help me out, Playmaker. So I see the rose, I see the sugar, I see the fiesta, I see the peach. So that means
Orange
the
Bowl,
cotton.
Cotton Bowl.
So that means the
are
cotton and the
semifinals.
orange. That would be semifinals, right?
That would be the semifinals.
That's what I thought. Okay, so the cotton and the orange are semifinals. Okay, all right.
And this is how it played out. The winner of SMU Penn State will see Boise, Tennessee, Ohio State will see Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson, Texas will see Arizona State, Indiana, and Notre Dame will see Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And then let's get to the fun part.
this.
Friday, December 20th, 8 p.m. ABC,
That's gonna be
South
interesting.
Bend, Indiana.
Oh,
That's gonna be
That's the
interesting game.
7th-ranked Fighting Irish.
Mhm.
Will host the surprising team of the year. Well, second surprising team of the year, should I say?
The 10th ranked Indiana Hoosiers.
This to me is the most interesting of the first round games.
Okay.
It is. I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. And yes, we're going to do this one too on December 20th.
Mhm.
We'll be up at 7 with a special hour-long pregame show. And I'd like you gentlemen to join me if you have time.
So we have Kurt Cinetti, who has done a hell of a job with Indiana.
Curtis Rourke.
Against
That's all I got to say. The
Marcus Freeman,
remarkable Rourke.
who
You've
after
done a really good
the
job with Illinois. I mean,
the unexplainable loss that
Northern
Coach Johnson
Illinois.
would never forget that Notre Dame took,
Against
decided to
still
boat
think-
race every single body afterwards.
I
Mhm.
still, unfortunately, and yes, this is the petty coming out of me. I still think Notre Dame should not even be ranked higher
I
than
don't
number
think-
10
I don't think they
because
should
of
be
that
ranked
loss.
either. I don't think they should be ranked either. I agree.
They shouldn't be ranked higher than 10 because of
I
that L
totally
to Northern
agree.
Illinois.
You took an L at home when a 62-yard field goal got swatted back in your face.
Mhm.
Why are you
But-
ranked in the top 5?
But look, I'll salute them. They
boat raced
got off
everybody.
the canvas and they ran the table the rest of the way. So
They ain't just run; they boat
still
raced
lost
everybody.
to North
That includes
Carolina.
Army and Navy.
Yep.
which is true.
Oh, they beat
did.
oh man,
They beat the dogs out of the Army.
They beat the daylights out of Army. They beat them, but they beat the dog snot out of both of them because they hung 51 against Navy.
Well, they did hang 51 on
They
them.
They hung 51 in a game that I did. They hung 51 against Navy.
And both teams was undefeated when they played Notre Dame too.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
I still feel the worst for Purdue because Notre Dame put 65 on.
Yeah,
them.
that was the next game on the schedule.
That was the
Yikes.
first game after that Northern Illinois L. They put 65 on them. I'm like,
65 against Purdue. Matter of fact, that's the second time this year Purdue has allowed 60 plus
60
points
plus
in a
points.
game.
The
Because in the
other?
old Oaken Bucket game, they
Mhm.
allowed Indiana 66
Yeah,
points.
I was going to say, and the other Notre Dame's opponent for
Mhm.
this game,
Yep.
where they were up 52-0, and they still wanted to throw on them.
They still wanted to run. They still wanted
Curtis and they
put-
wanted to send
pile
a
up the
message.
yards. Yep.
That was
they
that
still-
was.
They wanted to pile up the yards.
They wanted to send a message. Don't you
Oh, yeah.
dare respect us.
Oh yeah.
He was talking to the committee, not to Purdue.
No, yeah,
Nope,
just the
he was talking to the committee.
Mhm.
He indeed was talking to the committee. I don't
There you
disrespect
go.
us like that.
Mark your calendar. Friday, December 20th, 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Then we turn the calendar to December 21st on a Saturday.
Mhm.
And thanks to the deal between the NBA, ESPN, and Turner Sports,
Turner
with
Sports.
Inside NBA going to ESPN next year.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, ESPN,
TNT.
ESPN, or is it strictly ABC?
Both.
Both.
Okay,
And
think Monday
so
Night
with
Football.
that
Gotcha.
deal,
gotcha.
college football games get to come to Turner Sports.
Right.
Yep.
12
Nice trade-off.
p.m. TNT, HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Happy Valley. The 6th-ranked Nittany Lions going against the 11th-ranked Mustangs of SMU. Now, before anybody says anything, James Franklin, because I know Coach Johnson very well, this is the game you better win for Coach Johnson.
You
This
better
is the
win
one
this
you
game.
must have.
If you lose this game to SMU,
Then the statement
And
that I
you
said
need-
earlier the statement I said earlier in this episode, where I said, if you are a team that is ranked 1 to 9 and they play against you, I won't pick you against them. Well, they'll extend to 1 through 20.
Let me put
If
it
you
another
lose
way.
this game to SMU.
Let me put it another way. And Cole Johnson, I love you for this. In simplest terms, James Franklin, if you don't win this game against SMU, this is your showcase game. This is the one that you wanted. This is the one that you begged for since you've been at Penn State. This
And you
is
already
it.
called for a whiteout.
It's gonna be a whiteout. It's gonna be a whiteout. This is the one that you wanted for many, many years. And if you don't win this one, and I don't expect you to, James Franklin, you fired.
Trust me, James Franklin, if you don't win this game, I'm going to get a whole bunch of messages from Cole Johnson himself.
You're going to get a whole bunch of messages from me. The hell with that.
Here this fool going again.
You're going to get a whole bunch of messages from me because James Franklin cannot win the big one.
Losing on the big stage platform yet again. Look at this.
Cole Johnson would not hesitate to message me. Because James Franklin, you better win this game. You got a home game. Right out.
This is a home game for him. So
this is a home game.
You wanted teams from the South to come on north to play in that weather? Well, you got one coming to you.
And coming from Dallas, which it can get cold. It can get cold there, but it doesn't get as cold as it would in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Sticking with TNT and Max, they got their next game, 4 p.m. Steve Sarkisian, you're going against a team. They got boat race in the opening week by Georgia. And a team that got upset at home by their arch rival, South Carolina.
South Carolina. Yep.
They are the 12th ranked team. They are the ACC champions. If the Fighting Dabos, you're talking about Cole Johnson messages me if James Franklin loses. If the Fighting Dabos walk into Austin, Texas,
and beat them,
it can be a 1-point victory. It don't matter.
Yep.
If Clemson has one more point than Texas,
that's right.
I might have to give Cole Johnson the show to himself so he can just go off.
If that happens,
you would not want to hear what I have to say.
You know what? If that happens, I'll schedule an interview with Cole Johnson myself. Introduce him, and then just give him the floor and just sit back in this chair and laugh.
You will not want to hear what I have to say.
So yes, me, Steve Sarkisian. I'm putting you and all SEC and Longhorn fans on notice.
He's in the crosshairs.
Best believe I will schedule the show as normal, and I will let Cole Johnson go off.
And I will do the same.
And then I will go recap the other games. Because ain't gonna be nowhere else to start but that.
That's the head. That'll be the headline.
Mr. Sarkisian, you better win this game. That's all I'll say. You better win in this episode. You better win this game.
And outside of South Carolina, Clemson don't beat SEC teams.
That's another reason why I say that you better win this game, because if you claim that you're an SEC type of school,
you better prove it.
You better prove it in this game.
You better
since you didn't prove it in the SEC championship, you better prove it.
You allowed Georgia to escape, Steve Sarkisian. You allowed Georgia to escape by the skin of their ass because you had no business, none whatsoever, losing to Georgia, a team that you hung 400 yards of offense on.
And you beat them down to where they had to start. They had to bring in their backup.
You took out Carson Beck,
who was not playing good in the first place.
And he was playing horrible.
Carson Beck was not Carson Beck.
He wasn't.
Gunnar Stockton took care of business.
Oh my gosh.
Gunnar Stockton took care of business. You understand? It took care of business.
And finally, since we're talking about coaches on the hot seat, you might as well do a trifecta.
May as well.
At the Horseshoe on the 21st, that is 8 p.m. 8 p.m. ABC ESPN at 4 p.m., 8 p.m. That
And to me-
nightcap at the Horseshoe.
And
Number
to me-
8 versus number 9.
And to me, this is the spotlight game of the week because of what you just said. Ryan
Cole.
Day, come on down. Yes, sir.
You want to join me?
Let me see. Next Saturday, 4 p.m.
You want to join me?
At 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Not 4.
Oh,
8.
okay.
That's 8. Yeah, that's an 8.
Eight.
This is the nightcap. This is the nightcap. This is the
Okay, sorry.
closing game.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can, but I'll see. But yeah,
Because
this is a
Ryan
spotlight
Day?
game.
Ryan Day, this is yours. You Ryan Day need to bounce back, and that's putting it mildly. After the embarrassment you suffered against Michigan, allowing them to come into the Horseshoe for the second straight time
And
beat you
beat you down.
and hold you to 10 points.
You said
how
it best.
you know how bad it is. People they are expecting the home crowd when this game is set to still boo Ryan Day because of the loss to Michigan.
He should boo him.
And they should.
He should hear 100,000 people boo
And they
him
should.
severely because they did this. And I know a couple of Buckeyes fans. They, along with him and obviously with his team, and I don't know how this was possible because considering all we have heard all of our lives is Ohio State, their biggest rival is Michigan, and their whole season is ruined when they lose to Michigan. So my thought was, okay, the way I saw them play in Columbus a few weeks ago, I can't believe I'm saying this about an Ohio State team. They overlooked Michigan because they were thinking after they spanked Indiana.
Yep.
They were thinking, okay, cool. We good. Now we can avenge that one L that we took in Eugene, and in that in the Big Ten championship, we're gonna get that L back against Oregon.
And the bad part is they had it in their back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Big Ten championship all
Right
to themselves.
Right there. All they had to do was secure that.
All they had to do was
W
beat
against Michigan at home.
Yep, at home.
And then they would travel
All
to
they
Indy.
that's all they had to do.
And not only and not only did that, they probably would have secured the spot that Texas is in now.
Mm-hmm.
At worst, if they were to lose to Oregon again, they probably would have been the number 5 seed.
And I'll back it up by saying this. I'll back it up by saying this. I'm willing to bet you that because of brand recognition, Notre Dame, hello, they'd have slipped into the top 4. Because of brand recognition alone. Never mind the fact that they played inconsistent football since Oregon.
Yeah, they have been up and down.
They've been inconsistent since Oregon.
So on Saturday night, December 21st at 8 p.m.
It's about Ryan Day. And look,
and guess what? You remember all that talk that you talked about the SEC? Well, why don't y'all come up here and play in this weather? Well, that Tennessee team right here, that's ranked number 9. They have the 2 things that you need in that type of weather. They have a defense
and a running game.
And a running game.
And a deadly running game. Just ask Alabama.
And let's not pull punches here. I actually live about 2.5 hours west of where Tennessee is. Now, it may not get as cold as in Columbus in December,
but
it does get cold. In fact, it's actually snowed here last week. So it is not all palm trees and balmy here in December.
I spent time in North Carolina, not far from you.
And North Carolina is the exact same because you get the exact same weather. Yeah. It ices up and freezes in December here, just like it does in Ohio. So it isn't a So to me, this isn't this is a Southern team going up to brave the elements up north. No,
wrong.
No. This is a team that they're accustomed to this type of weather that's in Columbus. And you said it to me. You said it, Playmaker. They're armed with the two things that travels.
A defense and a running game.
And Ryan Day, your time is coming, son. You got to pull out these victories here. Otherwise, you're going to be known as the guy that can beat all the little sisters up,
but not
the big dogs.
How funny it is. The Big Ten, you got your wish.
Mm-hmm.
You got two teams from the South, one from the actual Southeastern Conference,
right,
coming to your building in December.
Right.
In December, you got your wish. Now, will you capitalize on it?
Wow, we're actually saying this about both those teams.
Oh, and you know the funny part,
and another thing, and it's more
Mhm.
speaking to Ryan Day. If Tennessee goes up there and beat you, the Big Ten gonna be hyped. Not the Ohio State. I'm talking the Big Ten gonna be highly pissed.
Mhm.
They should be. They should be highly pissed, and I think they are highly pissed.
They're
even
going
now.
to be, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it here. I'm bearing down on the gridiron. I hinted at it this morning. I'm going to say it out loud here. I not only want Tennessee to go to Columbus and spring the upset, I actually expect them to. Because again, going back to the two things that Tennessee is armed with, a defense and a running game.
And you're right about that running game. It punishes you.
They shut down Alabama, and I believe they're going to shut down Ryan Day in Ohio State.
And
doesn't matter the weather.
And I hate to bring this up to Playmaker, but that was the only thing that saved Tennessee from losing to Florida was that running game.
Was a running game.
That's the only thing that saved them. If that running game didn't exist, Florida would have gone into Neyland and would have gotten out to Philadelphia.
You is missing one key part. You're missing one key part. Graham Hurts got hurt throwing a touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The same way they got lucky for Georgia. DJ Lowry gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
So that's a magic if our quarterbacks didn't get hurt.
Because Florida had both those games in the bag. They beat up Georgia in Jacksonville.
Yeah, for at least a solid half. Yeah.
The turnovers hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Paul?
What's going on, Paul?
The man of the Piskins talk Facebook group that I am in. Everything football is in that group.
So, that's cool.
Love it. Love it.
The playoffs are set.
Yes, they are.
It's not perfect.
But
with the system that they had, they made the right choices.
So actually considering the committee itself, it actually is perfect for them. Because normally we are talking about, well, they made this mistake here and they made this mistake there. You really can't say that this time.
You
sure everybody thought Alabama was gonna get in. No, they're not.
Then they shouldn't have.
They should not.
Thank you. They should not.
How many times have I come on any program talking college football and told you what the committee is going to do?
Yep.
And what did I tell you, Playmaker, when the talk before the conference championship was, people were saying, well, who deserves it, Alabama or Miami? I'm like, if SMU shows up in the ACC championship game and they show out, both of them are going to be eliminated. I remember saying that to you. I said, both of them going to be eliminated. There won't be a talk about Alabama and Miami because they both will be on the outside looking in.
Right.
But Miami the Miami defense decided to
take a vacation early.
Yeah.
A
21 point lead gone in 10 minutes.
Miami had their fate sealed at the Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
They had their fate sealed
when
at the Carrier
Dome. That game, I said, "Oh boy, this is not going." I don't think people understand. This is not the same Syracuse team that they used to seeing. This team is 8-3 going into this game.
This
Syracuse Miami team might have their hands full here.
I mean, and
this Syracuse team was ready.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, yeah, they were down 20. They were down 21-0, but that woke them up.
They evaporated in 10 minutes. I'm like, this is literally what is going. And then what made it so disrespectful? They came out in the second half and said, "You know what? We're just gonna bomb y'all. That's what we gonna do."
And bombs away it was.
And it's not like Miami came this year with a really stout defense. I mean, they had to storm back from a 35-10 deficit in Berkeley.
Yep.
They almost gave away a game at home to Virginia Tech, where it was 38-34.
And Virginia Tech was about to steal that one, but ran out of time.
Paul, with that defense, no, they wouldn't.
No, they
because I kept saying and
No.
Cole can attest. How many times I
No.
said at some point these shooters gonna catch Miami. You got caught at Atlanta against Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And then Syracuse said,
Yeah,
so since y'all defense can't stop a cold, we're just gonna bomb y'all away, and they just kept bombing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then the Georgia Tech game to me, that to me was like, okay, Miami, that's where the problem is.
That was the telling story for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Georgia
the
Tech
telling.
game.
That was the telling story for me. The Georgia Tech game.
Because to me, my thought was, okay, so you had a lead last year against Georgia Tech, and you embarrassingly lost the game in the very last minute because you had the lead and the ball. You were running the clock out. You decided to go,
you decided to do that,
and then you roll a red carpet to Georgia Tech to in the last minute steal the game
in literally the
Yeah.
last second.
So my thought was, all right, so you can go to Atlanta. You're going to be motivated to just simply beat the brakes off of Georgia Tech.
Nope. Not a chance.
So,
Nope.
but
Didn't
hey,
happen. Won't happen.
we made it through the chaos of college football.
Yeah,
We have our 12 teams. So we can sit back and chill for a while.
I actually like this better than the 4.
Me too.
I actually admit.
I'm waiting for them to go. I can't wait for them to go to 16.
I would love it even better.
I can't wait for them to steal the model from 1AA and below with a 16-team playoff. No rankings, no seeds, no automatic buys. I beg your pardon.
Mm-hmm.
Just seed the top 16 teams and let them go at it.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody sees a neutral site until the quarterfinals.
And I actually said a few years back, I said, yeah, this won't be right until they actually open up a 16-team playoff pool.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we'll actually have what I think would be a more just playoff system for college football.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here we are.
Mm.
We got to December 20th before the first rounds begin.
Yep.
And then we go into the new year with our quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
We have our semifinals on January 9th and 10th, respectively. And then January 20th
It's national
In Atlanta.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
And Snowman Multimedia and Snowman Sportsnet will have them all.
Unfortunately, Paul, you'll be disappointed because Colorado is going to be playing BYU in a bowl game.
And they're going to
be on the lookout for another article from me about the bowl games you should watch outside of the college football playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait. I can't wait for that article. I can't wait because that's my guide. That is my guide.
And if you haven't check out the new look Playmakers blog website. Cole had the chance to look at it. He loves what I have done with the website.
Yeah,
I love it too.
It's good.
So,
it looks great.
For Snowman Multimedia, that is Brian Snow down at the bottom. The morning shifts, Cole Johnson. I am the Playmaker. We finna get up out of here because I think we exhaust every topic that is to exhaust at this moment in time.
Sarkeesian, you better be Clemson.
And again, shameless plug. We will have them all. We will have the entire college football playoff from December 20th to January 20th on Snowman Multimedia and Snowman Sportsnet. Go to snowmansportsnet.com. It'll be live tomorrow to take a look at the schedule.
All right, let's get out of here because now Cole Johnson's finna hop in the chat and be a troll like he always is at 6:30.
You screwed up Georgia. You better not screw up Clemson. Get on the ball, son. Don't focus about your triplets. Get on the ball, son.
And those of you who are looking, y'all see me in about a little over an hour for Monarchs of Wrestling.
All right, Monarchs of Wrestling. Gotta love it. Check out